Okay, so to start out with, and I apologize if this is a little weird because this is the first time I've ever filmed here. I've got 3 different types of Franklin Covey inserts here. This is the classic day on 2, this is the compact day on 2, and this is the B6 bound day on 1. I've got reviews or sort of explanations on how all of these inserts look, and I'll post links up here for all 3 of them. So if you want a closer look at them, but what I want to talk about today is kind of the similarities between them all. So for all of them, you get a monthly calendar, and for all of them, you basically get a schedule section, you get a queue, it's set quadrant 2 activities section, that's this one right here in the B6. I vaguely explained the quadrants and I got the axes wrong in this video, so I plan on doing a better video on the quadrants, but it's effectively a way to strategize what to focus on in the Franklin Covey world. And then you get a section for tasks, right? So in the 2 daily setups, in the 2 dailies here, they are very similar, right? Schedule, quadrant 2 tasks, schedule, quadrant 2 tasks, okay? It's just in the day on 1 setup here that it gets a little bit different. So on the right hand page over here in both the day on 2s is your notes section, and they move the notes section right here. So you've got your schedule, notes, this becomes your prioritized task list, and this is your second quadrant activities, right? And then across a spread here, you get the current and the future month, whereas you get the current and the future month right here. And they do bold right here. So the 13th and 14th are bolded, so it tells you the 2 days you're looking at. Here, just the 1 day, because there's only 1 day you can see at a time in the day on 2. Okay, so really, it doesn't matter which set you pick. It just comes down to how much space you need. Franklin Covey also offers a day on 1 in both of these sizes, which I don't really know exactly the layout difference because I haven't really looked at it. If I wanted a day on 1 page, I would use this. I am using rings because I feel like it is the thing that I need at the moment, but all things equal, I prefer a bound book. So there's a good possibility that I will go to this kind of a book arrangement in the future if, I ultimately come to the conclusion that this day on 2 is too big for me. As of right now, I'm leaning towards the compact because I like having this amount of notes pages. I've seen a lot of people use this book with astrology as their notes in the back for additional note space. I can speak English good. All right. So anywho, that said, effectively, they are the same. So I am gonna clear some space out and focus on how I would use, I just hit the camera. How I would use the compact, all right? Let's just make sure, okay, we're in here. So the thing that I have been doing, and I would show you on an actual page, but I work in healthcare, so it's all protected information, is I'm using this as an actual month at a glance calendar schedule. I have not been doing this historically in the past. I've been relying on my digital calendar for this, but I am realizing, apparently very slowly, that digital calendars are very bad at giving you a month at a glance because you end up with a million things on any one page, and half of them are not necessarily things you need to see, but there's no way, or at least I've not found a way in Outlook or my Google Calendar to like selectively show me some things on the month on that day and not everything that's listed on the day. So I digress. But this I am planning out in pencil, real time, and basically if it's not on here, I'm not doing it. So there's a lot of writing and erasing, and I might move to like a friction pen or some kind of erasable pen setup in the future, but that is where I gather and first capture my information. Then when I get to my daily pages for the week, like the incoming week, I will go through generally somewhere between Friday and Sunday, because I like to preactively plan my next work week on Friday. So I kind of know if there's anything I need to close out Friday on before my workday ends, I can do it ahead of time. Like, what if I have a meeting that I need to run on Monday or something along those lines, or prep something? I have time to prep it on Friday if I've reviewed for the upcoming week ahead of time. I think you all already get what I'm saying. So generally speaking, I'll fill out with a little bit more surety what my actual day is going to look like the week prior. So I'll know any major time blocks that I have. And I like having this kind of a full schedule because when it's not a COVID world, I do end up driving a lot between meetings because I am in the field visiting various clients for work. So I need to factor in drive time because it is not really productive time for me, but it is a solid commitment. So I need to factor in the time it will take me to get to that appointment, but I also can't do anything while I am driving, except maybe listen to some podcasts or make some phone calls. But that's about it. And then I can know what I can plug in to actual time blocks in terms of things that I need to get done. Okay, so that's how I handle my schedule in this. And you could adapt this exact same system to, I should really just bookmark this page, to this layout as well, where you're filling in your calendar here. Any notes that happen real time. So I don't really pre-fill out anything in the notes section. And then, assign times to the hours if there's a task that you need to do. Okay, so that is the schedule. Tasks, and that is where I think a dated planner becomes essential in the work world, is when it comes to managing tasks. So a lot of my work revolves around clients and managing projects, and so there's a lot of email traffic back and forth. Like, I'm asking somebody in my office to look into this thing, and then they have to have some time to look into that thing, but I need to not let them forget about it. So if they don't get back to me within a reasonable amount of time, I need to ask them again, hey, do you have an update on this? Where do we stand with this project? And the thing that I love about a predated planner for that, as opposed to astrology, where I'm only planning out like a week at a time, is I can set reminders for myself in the future. So let's say this Friday, I'm doing my review for the upcoming week, right? And I know that on Friday, I sent an email to our finance department to look into something for one of the projects. And I believe they should be able to get back to me, or they've committed to getting back to me on this Thursday right here, right? So not quite a week's worth of time, then they'll be able to get back to me. I can go to this Friday and write a note to myself, like, finance, alpha project or whatever, something to remind me. And then I'll generally put 8/14 right here, email, so that I know I emailed finance about it on 8/14. This makes it easier for me to search through my email and find the email and tag onto the same thread back to the finance department. And I have this here so that I'll know, hey, I did or didn't get it the day before, or I did or didn't get it at some point in the last week. I'll be able to remember if I got an update on it, and I can just check it off, or I can email them again, right? So it kind of lets me pre-plan out when I need to do things. And that to me has been the real benefit for a dated planner. I don't know why I did not think of this before. And actually, I do have an idea. I have a hunch that when I was using a Hobonichi back in 2016, 2017, I wasn't really working. Oh wow, I actually started with Hobonichi in 2015. I wasn't working at the time. I was studying for a big exam on my own time. So there wasn't a lot of like follow-up that I needed to do. It was really just like planning out what subjects or what things I would study at what time. And so that I think is very conducive to a bullet journal type approach to forward planning. But when you have tasks and projects and things that you need to follow up on, and it's not like a standard thing, you know, like I could send an email and then have to follow up with them again in 3 days or in 8 days, or, you know, whatever. It's variable. It's got elasticity in terms of when I have to follow up. And so being able to put like a tickler reminder on a specific day for me has been kind of game changing in terms of upping my level at work. And a lot of times I'll have a meeting with my boss or my manager, and you know, I meet with them once a month to kind of work through where I'm at in all of my projects, and they'll give me ideas or next steps for those projects. And sometimes the next step will be, hey, bring this back up to my attention in like 6 months or in 3 months or something like that. And I've tried making notes to myself in like OneNote, or even notes to myself in Outlook, so that Outlook will send me a reminder. But either I'll miss the note in OneNote, and so it won't stick out to me that, oh, I need to follow up with my boss on this subject. Or I will get so many reminders that it kind of loses its importance. Like my phone, I just start to tune out because I'm like, oh, it's just another thing. And then it's somehow one more step that just doesn't click in my brain when I'm sending an email to, say, the finance department again, to just flag it to follow up in, you know, a week, or follow up on this Friday, you know, with finance on the project. It hasn't been successful, because that's what I've been trying to do for the last 2+ years, is just electronically remember to follow up, and I find I don't. So that is how I plan to use these inserts. It's super simple, I think, and yet somehow it was really game changing to me once I realized I could forward plan my tasks and forward plan these sort of tickler reminders on things I have to keep, you know, touching to keep the plates spinning and keep the projects going on schedule. And so because of that, if that's something that you deal with in work, one of these sizes might be good for you. And this is definitely something that I think you could handle in a day on one page like this. This I think is a great option if a dated planner is something you need. Now, places the dated planner like this has fallen apart for me in the past would be like when I was not needing these kinds of forward planning tickler moments with my tasks and so forth, and I just was using it to journal, or I was using it for memory keeping, because like I have consistency problems when it comes to that. So having a designated page dated for those types of purposes felt really constraining, whereas this felt really freeing. As soon as I realized I could do this with my dated planners, it was like a light bulb moment, and I was like, oh, thank goodness. I can just write it in here on this day, and I don't have to try to remember it. It was like a weight off of my brain, as opposed to when I had a Hobonichi and I was trying to journal or memory keep every day. It felt, there was like pressure. It was like pressure to keep up with the day and to write something. And the irony of all of this is I've sort of done that now with my Stology currently. I'm pre-planning out a page a day for like a month at a time, and I need to do an updated Stology flip as well, but somehow that feels different, and somehow that's less pressure, because I've now incorporated a lot of deco and stickers and quotes and things like that, so it feels more like a creative outlet as opposed to like a pressure to perform on a specific day. So that's really it. If I missed anything or you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, I did think of one other thing. So Franklin Covey sends with their inserts a bunch of really great forward planning months. So you get the whole year of forward planning. This one is 15 months. It's from Amazon Japan, and this forward planning calendar falls in line with that. And you can see the pages are a little hard to turn, right? Because I have it a little full. But the thing that I have also found really helpful is this kind of a layout where you have 1 year all at once, a little box per each month I have used these not as future planning, so I've just kind of ignored the title of the page, but I've used it to track progress on my projects. And that has also been really fantastic. So what I actually did is I made it like 2020, and I took two from my Bloom set like this, and I just told this one 2020 and this is 2021. And I mapped out for all 11 of my projects that I have going on specific things that have to happen in each month over the next 2 years. And that has also been really helpful. And I could totally make a spread like that in Astrology. But something about having these inserts printed for me and knowing that it was a utilitarian work tool that let me schedule tasks just kind of broke my brain. Maybe I'm late to the game on this. I don't know. Let me know. But that's how I'm going to use this. If rings get really annoying, I will probably go to something like this. But I have promised this one to a friend, so I will be sending it on to live with her. If rings end up annoying me in the future, I'll be really sad because I've spent a lot of money recently acquiring beautiful new ring binders that are on their way. But it's also me, and I do things like that. So I'll figure out some way to repurpose them and make them work, but I'd also probably move in this direction. I do find that the weekend pages get a little bit less utilized for me because I tend to disconnect. And so where I think I'm going with my Saturday and Sunday spreads is in this book, there is a weekly page right here at the beginning of every week. So after Sunday, before Monday, in between every single week in this B6 Franklin Covey week, there's kind of like a week summary, right? And it's all in Japanese. You could use Google Translate to figure out what you're supposed to fill in various places. I think some people have actually created sticker kits or stickers in Canva to cover these up and kind of remind you what you're supposed to put in there. But I'm thinking of you doing something like this on either Saturday or Sunday. So turning these pages into a master task list of some kind and using it to like keep track of tasks and perform a weekly review primarily, because one of the other things that I've really realized in the last couple of years of trying to figure out my work plan is that I am really good at capturing information. What I am not good at is organizing and then reviewing that information. So I've got the capturing down. What I need to get better at and focus on is making sure I go back and look at old pages and look at old notes from meetings, and I've pulled out everything relevant to those meetings, and I am incorporating it into my workflow in the future days. So in those respects, that's where a dated planner is really coming in handy for me. So hopefully this helped you all. Please let me know, comment, like, subscribe, all that business down below if you want to engage with me further on any of these topics. Thanks so much. Bye.